time for our featured presentation. Our featured keynote speaker this morning is Dr. Susan Winsor with Aiken Technical College. She's been the president of Aiken Technical College for about 16 years, since 1999, I believe, and she's here to talk about the new Center for Energy and Advanced Manufacturing. She previously served as Associate Executive Director for Academic Affairs and Technology for the South Carolina Technical System and Vice President for Academic Affairs at Spartanburg Community College. She holds a Master of Public Health degree from the University of North Carolina and a PhD in Educational Administration from the University of South Carolina. She's involved in a multitude of community and professional activities to include Rotary, the Lower Savannah Workforce Development Board, SCANA Advisory Board, Regional Education Center Advisory Board, is a member and current chair of the SRS Community Reuse Organization, and past chair of the Greater AikenChamber of Commerce. Dr. Winsor is a 2004 recipient of the Martha Kime Piper Award in recognition of her record of advancing and supporting women in higher education in South Carolina. She also received the 2007 Greater AikenChamber of Commerce Woman of the Year Award and the Knowledge Economist Award from the South Carolina Research Authority in 2010. Finally, in January of 2013, Dr. Winsor was awarded the Energy Leadership Award from the Charlotte Business Journal. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Susan Winsor.
Good morning. Well, it's my pleasure to be here this morning, and I thank the Chamber for inviting me to talk about our newest addition to the college. And I want to recognize Nikisha Dix, who's with us here this morning from the college, making sure that I go through this in the way I'm supposed to, right, Nikisha? Well, you see the artist rendering of this facility on the opening slide, so I want to keep that thought in your mind as we approach the end of this presentation. I think most of you would agree that Aiken County has seen a lot of change in its economic base and who it is over the last 10 to 15 years. And that included a time in the late 2000s that we will all remember as the Great Recession and some difficulties that we as a community and of course the nation had. But we knew that things would improve and that all economic cycles come and go, and we needed to be positioned as a community to be competitive in attracting additional investment. And we also knew that many of the jobs today in the nuclear manufacturing sector require some post-secondary education and sometimes extensive post-secondary education. So we're in the enviable position right now in this community where we do have manufacturing present and healthy. We have the Savannah River site that continues to provide great employment opportunities, as well as 2 nuclear stations in proximity that are expanding. That's a great opportunity for young people, and that opportunity is even further advanced by the fact that retirement curves are all approaching quickly for all of us in all of our businesses. What we thought would happen in terms of us baby boomers is now happening, and therefore the opportunities in our county are extensive and growing. So that's good news, and it's also a challenge. You know, we've always been known for providing very good quality education. We have very fine programs. We have very close relationships with our business and industry, and that is exemplified by our very high placement rates for our programs. In fact, in the last reporting period, we were the highest of any of the technical colleges in the system at 96%. But we did have a little bit of a problem, and that was some of our facilities were aging and needed to be replaced. And therefore, it was time to build the Center for Energy and Advanced Manufacturing. This facility is a 35,000 square foot facility. It contains classrooms and lab space and meeting space. And it's been designed to be flexible because it's hard for me to envision standing here today what 20 years might bring down the road for our county. So we want to remain flexible in how we design. this, and we are also equipping it with the latest technology. So let me run through a few pictures here to give you an idea of where this is before I talk about how it actually came about. If you're familiar with campus, yes, this is Highway 1, down at the bottom. So this area right here that's shown as trees is now where that facility sits. Again, this is the artist rendering. And this is the floor plan. Now the picture that you just saw of the artist rendering is the front of the building that faces out over campus and has a lovely view of the valley. And so that's this portion of the building that you just saw. So it is much deeper than it is wide. It looks large, it's larger than you would think just looking at the front of it. And that was to best use the space, the land in which it is situated. So we have our manufacturing programs on this side with machine tool manufacturing, and in the back here an extensive welding lab, which is a very high demand area. And then our energy programs are situated on the other side. Front is flexible meeting space, and then faculty offices. So of course at the end of the day it's all about money and how we were going to make this work. Now remember that Great Recession word. State budgets were being cut, there was no monies for construction. However, this facility was certainly needed and was our top priority in our master plan to get built. So, you know, sometimes things just fall together, and sometimes people will say luck, and others will say it was a lot of hard work, and then the opportunities start to come together. And that was the case. And the reason I have Bridgestone up here noted is because the chips started lining up correctly with the announcement that Bridgestone was expanding in the county. And what that did is made us competitive for an Economic Development Administration grant. And that grant was in the amount of $2.6 million. I see representatives here today from the Lower Savannah Council on Governments who helped us with that. That was actually larger than we ever anticipated receiving. So that was the good news. We were then able to leverage that to convince the legislature and our delegation later that year to commit an additional $2.4 million towards this facility. And the college had $1.5 million in reserve it could put towards the facility, but we're still short, and we still needed to match that federal grant. And therefore, the foundation took on the challenge of raising $2 million additional dollars in a time that was not the best of economic times to finish out the funding for this facility. And I'm very proud to say that very early this year, we met that $2 million goal. Now that took a huge community partnership, and I know I have commissioners in the audience today, I have foundation board members, and I have donors that are here today in the audience. So if you had anything to do with this facility and any of those roles, if you would raise your hand and let me say thank you to you either as a board member or as a donor, and there's some that have made a huge difference in bringing us where we are today. Now the good thing is that we have been able to complete this facility without debt. That's an amazing accomplishment. And so let me talk a little bit about some of the partnerships. In the very top picture there, you've seen some earth moving. And we started this project last summer. That picture on the top was about 15 months ago. No, that's not right. 13 months ago. 13 months ago with the dirt moving. That was a partnership with the South Carolina Army National Guard. We have a long relationship with them, very positive relationship with them. It could be another whole presentation. But they used our site as a civil engineering training exercise to do the rough site work. And then of course the contractor was responsible for the fine work thereafter. But what a great way for them to have their training and for us to reduce the cost of our construction. The groundbreaking was on July 24th last summer. And construction started just about a year ago. And I'm going to run through some of the pictures here to give you a kind of an idea of how this rolled out as we began construction. Of course, once the site prep is done, the cement pad has to be laid, and it has to be laid continuously. So the cement trucks start lining up at about 4 or 5 in the morning, and they continue pouring throughout the day until the entire pad is poured. So that's what you see occurring here. The cement goes up that big boom and down, and it's just continuously poured. Here you start seeing some of the steel going up. By the way, in the wettest winter that we've had in forever. Didn't help things. We see the front of the building taking shape. Some of the exterior wall going up. Here we see some of the taking shape and the bricks starting to come on. And there you see a finished entrance to the facility. This is actually the view from the front of the building, and you can sort of see that it's a nice vista looking out over what is our computer technology building and our health science building in that picture. So it's a very nice setting. This is the vaulted entrance into the building. There's a lot of natural light that comes into the facility. This is one of the hallways. It's outside the classroom area, and when we designed this facility, we designed it because we wanted to have a place where business and industry would feel comfortable coming and holding meetings. So that classroom space is flexible. One's a little bit more upscale for those business use, but it does open up with movable walls so that we can have one large meeting space in the front or 3 classroom spaces. And you'll see that in a moment. And here's that large space. You can see the front end is carpeted. We're still moving furniture in, so it's still being settled. But it can be divided into 3 spaces as well. That's a conference room. Chairs still be put place. This is the lobby area, so that as our students come in or visitors from business and industry come in, they have a comfortable place to relax while they're waiting for their classes or meetings. So as I mentioned, we did meet our fundraising goal in very early February of this year. We did receive the certificate of occupancy just a few weeks ago, and you can imagine it has been a real push from here on in to get the furniture in and equipment in, so we've been really busy. And we do plan to start classes in this facility a week Monday on August 17th. Sorry about that. You know, clearly our future is bright, and with the number of manufacturers we have in the region, we have a real opportunity to leverage this facility to bring additional economic development to the region. And I know that I've been working very closely with some of the leaders in the community to make sure that this facility is used and positioned such that that can happen. And I really do hope that this becomes one of the drawing cards for this area for additional manufacturers or additions and expansions to our existing businesses. Because we're all about being prosperous, right? We all want to be lucky enough to live here, right, David? And continued growth is part of that. But you know, it's not just the building. The building is a tool. The equipment that will be housed in it is a tool to attract new industry, but at the end of the day, it comes down to each student and how do we reach out to our community and to our young people to make sure they're aware of the great paying opportunities that there are in the manufacturing and nuclear industry. Remember I said there's going to be a huge increase in the number of jobs available just by retirement curves alone. And we want our young people here in this community to get those jobs. We don't want them to be imported from halfway across the country because our folks aren't ready to take those positions. So that's a real passion for me and for all of my faculty and staff. So I just wanted to talk about a few things that we do have going on right now and things that we hope to expand. We've had a technical scholars program in place for a long time. Actually, Bridgestone was our pioneering partner with that initiative, and we've had other industries add on to that. And essentially what that is a relationship between the employer and the college to place in their companies as students talented young people who are going to eventually merge into their full-time workforce. Those companies select those young people as if they were going to select a full-time employee, because in many cases they will be full-time employees. That student receives a 20-hour-a-week work experience in that company while they are a student, and the company pays the remaining educational costs for the student after financial aid is given. So the student receives a free education, they receive work experience, and they have, in almost every case, a job waiting for them with their sponsoring company when they're complete. Now, why this is important is it is a challenge for many companies to fill the highly technical positions, the positions where you have complicated programming that are running complicated pieces of machinery that run on their own, basically robotics, automated manufacturing. This takes a high skill set and level. It also takes a high skill set and level to repair and maintain those machines. Because think about it, as important as everyone is in a workforce, if your equipment isn't running, you're not producing. And everybody in this room knows that are in the manufacturing field. If your equipment is down, you are not producing. And so these individuals are highly prized and valued in the workplace. We also have an agreement with the Aiken County Career and Technology Center and a number of the high schools that have parallel technical programs at the secondary level. So students who perform at a certain level in parallel programs can receive advanced standing with us when they come to us. That means they can exempt some coursework, and that's important to encourage them. And we also have an opportunity called Aiken Early College that encourages students to begin college as juniors in high school, whether it be in a university transfer parallel or in a technical area. And one of the areas that we have had considerable success in is in the what's called Project Lead the Way, but it's a pre-engineering curricula where students can receive 26 college credits, general education and engineering, before they graduate from high school that they can either use with us or with four-year colleges that we have agreements with. So it's a great way for students to get a jump start on their technical education. And we really do hope, and I see the chair of the school board is here and delighted that you are here. We have started another initiative this year called Within Reach. And we hope that through this, we are going to be able to connect individually with students and their families, especially those who perhaps have not made a decision about their future as they enter their senior year in high school, to continue their education through a close collaboration, whether it's in a technical field or another field. We feel as though we are perhaps losing some of our young people, maybe not fully engaging every young person. And if we're going to continue to grow our economy here and we're going to be prepared to replace those retirees, we've got to do a better job of connecting with every young person. So I look forward to the continued collaboration with the school district and deepening that collaboration as we move forward into this coming year. And how delightful it will be for those students looking at opportunities in manufacturing and nuclear fields to actually have a facility they want to be in. Because I can tell you this new facility is replacing one that we'll be glad one day when it is demolished. We're going to have a hit it with a hammer party. So here we are today. This essentially is what the facility looks like today. As I said, we are moving in right now. We're getting our welding lab ready. It will have all new equipment. Some of our foundation members actually were able to walk through it last week, and I think Jason, I'll put words in your mouth, but I think you were a little surprised how large and how nice it really is. And so we're get the welding in there and our radiation protection in there and keep moving equipment in through the fall. But we're just really happy and proud of the partnerships it took to be here today. It took a whole lot of folks in this room and others that aren't to make this a reality and to allow us to occupy this building without debt. So I thank the community for that commitment, and I thank the community for their commitment to our industries in the region and to our young people, because the young people are going to be key to our future success. And with that, I'll be glad to take any questions. No questions.